Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Relishing Dead podcast where we devour everything in the TWD universe. I'm Dawn.
I'm Carol.
I'm Barb.
And we're missing Eliza tonight. She didn't have internet connection or she's got storms.
Because of the storms, yeah.
So we're missing you tonight, Eliza.
My boo-boo.
So we're going to discuss season 2. What is it? Episode 6 of Dead City. And I got to look up the name because I don't know it right at the top of my head.
British partners are hard to come by
these days. These days,
yes.
Yeah. I love the episode. I thought Lauren did a great job of directing. I really, like I said, it was probably one of the best episodes so far of the season. What do you girls think?
I liked this episode, but I liked it because it was Kim Coates heavy. And I love his character. But I have to say that knowing that this episode was directed by Lauren, there were a lot of really cool shots. You know, so the way that they came up with the storyboard and stuff like that, and the particular shots that the director wanted to see, I think that she really has kind of a knack, maybe, for directing, because I think that some of the shots were very, very cool, and we'll get into those. But yeah,
I had a few favorites along the way of Dead City while I was banging my head up against the wall. But this is by far one of my favorites, and I didn't know till the end that Lauren directed most of this, so that was pretty cool to know. I definitely perked up in a few scenes and enjoyed this one. And again, it felt like home.
All right, I agree. What was there? Was there a particular one scene that stood out for you guys?
When I perked up, it was when the Croat and Negan were fighting.
Okay. Mine was when Negan and Maggie were talking. Like, it almost brought me to tears.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would have to say that my favorite scene, and we're going to kind of go out of order for just a second, and I created a special slide for this scene, was when Maggie killed the Herschel Walker.
Yep.
When I saw that Walker dressed in the striped shirt with the beard and all of that, I lost my shit. I did. I just thought, how crazy is that? I know that they did it on purpose. They had to have.
I'm surprised she didn't stand there longer, like, the time that she was going to kill that kid Walker, and just took a few more moments, to make us feel her pain at that moment. But they didn't.
No, I was a little let down with that, but that moment just struck me for some reason, and I guess it was because that Walker looked so much like Herschel, and I just knew that they had to have done that on purpose. So anyway, all right, so should we get into the episode?
Let's go.
We got a few people in the comments. Of course, my baby Angel is in the comments, and Sandy and Pam. So let's get to this. Haha, what did I say? Kim Coates. Very first scene. There's the man, the myth, the legend. I love his character in this show. Are you guys digging it, or are you guys disappointed, or
He's
what?
killing it. He's killing it.
I think he's doing a good job, but you're just not seeing enough of it. Like, they're just giving us little pieces.
He's not, more. We don't have the sense of his badness or his cruelty enough yet. I want more from him. I want more from that.
I could see he's a little psychotic.
Yeah. I could see that. A
little dark. Yeah.
So I knew as soon as they focused on her, I knew she was a goner. I didn't know how she was going to be a goner, but I knew she was going to be a goner. So this scene is with the Croat and Negan, and they are in the Dama's office, where Dawn says she supposedly died. So,
She ain't dead to me. Like, they would not, if they leave out a confrontation between Maggie and Dama, they just missed out.
yeah, they missed a good opportunity. And we've
Yeah.
read some spoilers or some possible spoilers. We don't know if they're true or not. But we've read some things where somebody has said that there is a confrontation between Maggie and the Dama.
Mm-hmm.
So Dawn's theory is that the Dama isn't dead and that we will see her later on.
She is hidden in the elevator room. And that's where Herschel went.
Yeah. And I can get behind that theory. I can see them doing that for sure. And then of course we already know that Negan was the one who killed the rat, but the Croat is now seeing the rat and he's kind of putting 2 and 2 together. And I don't know, what was this? What were they trying to show here? I didn't understand this picture at all. I didn't know what that was. But anyway.
It's where that other lady gave him those rocks and the meaning behind it, but I can't remember.
Oh, okay. All right. So then we see Kim, and he's hosting Maggie and Pearlie and Jenny and Herschel at his table. And he's kind of, I don't know, what do you think? Is he trying to manipulate them? Is he trying to endear them to him? What do you guys think he's trying to do with them?
Go on.
Manipulate, because I don't think he'd really let them leave if they really wanted to leave.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that I got too. And then Chica comes back and she's been mauled by a bear.
Oh yeah, that, come on with that shit.
Yeah. She survived after what we see later on. She survived the bear attack. That was a little much. I agree, Barb. So the Croat and Negan are kind of talking about stuff, and they're talking about what's next for them.
Can I ask you something about that bear though?
Yeah.
Was it supposed to be a zombie bear or not a zombie bear?
I don't think it was supposed to be a zombie bear. I think it was just supposed to be a bear that's badass, that has survived a lot of walker attacks.
Okay.
With its eye being gone and all of that. So, and then we have this thing where Herschel sees Dimitri Alistat, which is what the Dama had said was her favorite artist. And then he goes through a whole mental thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Maggie and Pearlie have a conversation. And this was confusing to me, because they're trying to have this conversation about Maggie and her wanting to kill Negan, her not wanting to kill Negan, going back and forth. And Pearlie's just as confused as the Watchers are.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get it.
Yeah, I agree, Tina. I'm with you on that one.
Didn't see any purpose on the bear.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're going to get to that slide, but let me just talk about the bear for a second, because we all know that there's a zoo on Long Island, or in Manhattan. Okay, we know there's a zoo there in Central Park. A whole bunch of us, including me, have said that we want to see a lion or a tiger or a bear. Oh my, we want to see something. And I think the studios were just like, oh, well, let's just, appease the audience and give them a bear. And I don't think they did it right. I think that they should have teased us better, because they'd only given us like 2 sound bites in the previous episodes of some animal growling. And then all of a sudden this bear shows up.
Well, not only that, how many years later is it?
Yeah.
And it just, look how quickly this bear just died because of Maggie.
Exactly.
But where have all these other animals after all this time?
Yeah, where are the
You got
giraffes?
one bear.
One bear.
Maybe the bear killed them to survive.
But yeah, I didn't see the whole purpose of that. But
Yeah, I think they just wanted to give us some kind of fluff and some type of antagonist, and the bear was the perfect choice. And then she fucking took the bear down.
I just think if they was going to use the bear, they should have did it when they were out in the high grass. To me, the bear in the building and nobody heard it. They closed the door. So I'm like, nobody hears this going on. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a little silly.
and
Right.
just to bring up something David Alpay said at the concert was, were no animals turned into zombies. So I think it would have even been better if that was a walker bear.
Yeah,
I
I agree. I mean, at least give us walker apes. Right?
I'll even take a walker giraffe.
Well, Tina says the giraffes are in The Last of Us, so we're not going to get those in the show. No, I think that we should get apes as walkers because we are so close in our DNA to apes that if the reason that the animals don't turn is because of DNA, because they're so different than humans, we should have walker apes because our DNA is so close. How badass would that be to see a big ass silverback gorilla that's a walker? I think it would be fantastic. Anyway, I think that's what they should do. Not a bear. They should give us a walker ape, like a big silverback. So that's just my opinion. All right. So I think that this was kind of a cool exchange between Negan and the Croat. And I'm sorry, but the guy who plays the Croat is a horrible screen smoker. Let's say that.
What?
He's a horrible screen smoker. If you watch the episode, he goes, doesn't inhale or anything. It's horrible. I notice things like that. Anyway, sorry. That was just one of my little tangents. But anyway, I liked this scene because you see on their faces, you see the Croat see the bottom of Negan's boot.
Mm-hmm.
He puts 2 and 2 together, and Negan knows that he's fucked up.
Again.
But you can see it on their faces. The acting was so good in that scene because there were no words whatsoever, and you knew exactly what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was choice.
Hi, everyone.
That's why I said it was such a better episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode. All right. So Negan knows he's fucked up. So then we get this little fight. And it was interesting, with Negan, historically in The Walking Dead, anytime something were to happen or anything like that, Negan always had other people to fight for him.
Mm-hmm.
Negan would always hide in the shadows, or he'd hide behind Simon, or he'd hide behind a car or something like that. And in that scene, there was no hiding. He didn't have anybody to hide behind, and he didn't have anybody to take his place as far as the ass kicking goes. And I think the Croat, he got him a little bit. But then, of course, the Croat fucks up, and he gets banished again by Negan. So did these people that were in the group that was in the room there, did they know about the Dama being dead? Because they just automatically took Negan's direction and didn't question it.
I would think by now, because it looks like a day or two has gone by. So I would think so.
Okay.
Might have not been mentioned, but I would think so because it looks like a day or two has gone by.
I gotcha.
I don't know.
Yeah, Pam, I know that he killed Simon himself, but he killed Simon to make a point. Just like he killed the doctor, just like he did the iron on Dwight's face. You know, he had already done that. But when other people are and when other people are attacking him, like when Rick's group was attacking him, Negan ran. He's a pussy. I'm sorry, but he is. So the fact that he actually was able to kind of take control of the situation and do what he had to do and then banish the Croat.
I know the Croat said he wanted to go back home, but I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with the Croat because he left.
But he's in the upcoming scenes.
Yeah. So we have this where Jenny is in the bathroom and she's trying to take care of her wound.
But she's getting infected pretty quickly because it's making it look like her visual is making it look like a walker bite, but
right.
Again, I don't believe that's what it is.
Right. And then Maggie sees the backpack with the gun. She comes in and she sees the backpack with the gun. And then we have this scene where Barb is like,
we went from exciting to this. We went from a great fight, all these emotions, to a pointless conversation with Milton 2.0, unless it was an important conversation and I just banged my head up against the wall.
Well, wasn't it kind of a conversation? He was telling him about what he did and how he lined people up and how he was.
Yeah.
So that was kind of explaining, you know, kind of his outlook on himself, like he's reflecting on his past.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I took it.
Okay.
I gotcha.
Sometimes you have to hear things out loud about.
Right. Oh no, that's why I always ask you guys questions because you got a better view on some things. That's why I asked about the bear or Jenny's cut.
Yeah.
Same thing with something that's going to come later. I had asked Dawn that she clarified for me, but you'll see the pictures of that later.
Okay. So they have this little tete-a-tete between the two of them, and Negan starts fucking with him in pure Negan fashion. And then we come to this scene where Herschel obviously has some stuff he wants to do, and he waits until everybody falls asleep. But Maggie's not asleep. So he goes through and he gets some blood of one of these walkers. And what was the point of this? What was he going to try and do?
Poison the water.
He was going to poison the water for who?
For the people there.
Yep.
Oh, okay. For the people
for Dama to kill people.
Yeah, because even Maggie came in and knew exactly why he was doing it, and that's exactly what Dawn just said.
Okay. All right. But then he pours it out. And they have this little conversation.
So he got caught.
Yeah.
Carl 2.0 can't stay in the house.
Right. And then they hear the bear. And that bear is a badass bear. It looks badass. We think it's a badass. But then Herschel basically takes it out with 2 throwing knives.
Yeah.
2 throwing knives. That's it. That's all it took. And he's gone. The bear is out.
Well, didn't he got caught on that fence? Yeah, you got the picture of the fence.
Well, I think he hit him in the eye. That way he couldn't see. And then, yeah.
Absolutely. So then we have this conversation with Maggie and Negan.
I love this one.
This was a good conversation between the two of them. I thought this was really good. And of course, Maggie, you know, before she has this conversation with him, she sees the lights on outside in the street. And then they have this conversation, and I don't know, it seems like, to me, it just seems like if Maggie and Negan would just pair up again, most of this shit that's happening wouldn't happen. Because I think Maggie and Negan together as a force are a lot like Carol and Daryl. You know, there's not I don't know, you know, me and Eliza, we joke about there being, you know, hate bang and stuff like that. There's chemistry between them, but it's a different kind of chemistry. It's the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. And I think
that's what it's leading to, though.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that it's going in that direction, because I really like to see them together as a fighting group, because I think her and Negan, they need each other to really kick ass and take names.
Yeah, they're definitely a good team.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like Rick and then Daryl and Michonne coming back and seeing them as a team?
I don't think they'd understand it. I don't think it would click.
Yeah.
I think it would be a little too much for them. So Pearlie notices that they're all gone. He sees the throwing knife, and he realizes that Maggie and Herschel are both gone. And then Negan's family, we finally get to see Annie and Joshua, but we only get to see them through binoculars.
Yeah, this is the one I had a question for Dawn.
Okay. What was the question?
Why he decided that, I thought he decided to send them back because it was his own punishment. Because of that conversation that he had with Milton 2.0.
Yeah. Right.
I thought, and Dawn made a good point. What did you tell me, Dawn?
I said Maggie warned him that they were coming to attack them in a couple of days. So I felt like he sent them away because he knew they were getting attacked.
And the only reason I said that was because of the look on Negan's face, like disappointment, like I can't save them, you know, and maybe it's his own punishment. I don't know. I got that vibe, but her point was more clear, but I just got that vibe from him. He didn't deserve them, is basically what I was thinking.
Well, see, he could also be looking like, here I am putting them in danger again. I need to send them away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he ever say what part of Tennessee that he had sent them?
Antioch. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I gotcha. I just didn't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, like Pam said, Bruegel would use them as hostages.
If he got his hands on it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, just the look on his face at the window, just it made me think differently. That's all.
Yeah.
Mixed emotions, who knows?
So then Pearlie, I don't know if he was summoned to Bruegel's office or what, but he shows up at Bruegel's office, and Bruegel is playing bridge. Why you got your hands over your face, Barb?
Another one. I don't understand.
That's his like psychotic part. Like the governor. That's the governor side of him.
Right, right. So then we realize he's talking about whatever her name is, Navarez. That's it, Navarez. And how he found her, and he, you know, asked her a bunch of questions, and then apparently he brought her home to hang out, just to kill her in front of Pearlie for some reason.
So, okay, why, people?
Yeah. I didn't understand that either. Was it just because Dasha wanted to be a walker, and so they made it possible for her to come back? I don't know.
Well, then he had that other guy that was a walker chained up. So he's, like I said, he reminds me of the governor. Like he had Penny chained up. Like it's like the same thing.
Well, that guy, he didn't have the guy chained up. That he wasn't a walker. He was his bodyguard, and he was still human. He was still coherent.
Right.
So why he's got Navarez chained up is strictly for a reason, and he wanted to use her as a visual manipulation of
Yeah,
some
for
sort.
him to see. Yeah, to say, hey, yeah, she did tell me.
Yeah.
Well, since there are no more animals left in the zoo, he's keeping those guys as pets.
I don't know. I just, like I said, it reminds me of the governor.
Since his
God.
teddy bear is dead.
That was a cute teddy bear.
It was a cute teddy bear. He didn't have
Because
an
you
eye.
notice they always have cards, or they have, like Lance had a coin. They always have something.
Yeah, something weird.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Annie and Joshua are sent away, and Negan's taking a moment to himself. And he sees Jenny. And Jenny comes up, she's pointing a gun at him, and then she starts to falter, and she faints in his arms, and he sees the wound, and that's where we leave it. So, thoughts on this one? It's so quiet in here.
I think Jenny's gonna not make it.
You think?
Mm.
I think she's kind of a distraction for Negan, like Carl was.
I think if something happens to her, that'll put him over the edge, and
Yeah.
that'll be Negan.
Reminds me of Negan and Lydia's relationship too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I mean, this cut is getting to her badly, but for some reason, I just want to keep with my theory that her and Herschel are going to be some kind of fierce team later. You know?
See, I think she's not going to make it, and that's going to send him to the mean Negan. Like he's not there yet. Because they said that we were going to see the Negan in this season.
We did.
And we haven't seen him yet.
I don't know. I like that fight between him and the Croat.
Yeah, but the Crow, he didn't want to fight. Like he was more
I know he
defensive.
didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I definitely perked up because it felt like part of him was coming back.
But I feel like Jenny not telling anyone she's cut herself. She's put herself in this position.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, Michelle. I'm ready to see the Negan.
Yeah, I think it's at this point, I think it's really the only thing that's going to save this show
Mm-hmm.
is if Negan goes back to his old ways.
And that's the only thing that can make him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I understand that, Pam, that we need Negan to show a softer side with the kids, like the others that Croat killed. I get that. But I think we've seen that. We've seen his arc. We know that he's actually remorseful for the things that he did back in the day. But I think that the only thing that's going to save this is if he turns back into the bad guy. We need to have a strong antagonist in order for this whole thing to work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have one. They've dismissed all of them unless Kim Coates' character steps up and really gets creepy and dark. It's just going to be a bunch of fluff.
We had a lot of moments with Negan where he was very sentimental, emotional, down on himself. So we need to stop that because that's not who he is. I mean, that the only time we really saw that was, I can only think of two that stand out in my head, was when he was talking to Carl, when Carl said he wanted to die, he'll die for them. And then the other one was when he was burning Lucille.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think he's just too emotional in this one.
Sandy, Maggie needs to get Jenny with the bat. Something's got to happen. Something's got to happen because right now everything is more like a whole kumbaya. Everybody,
Well, do you think that's why they're setting it up? Why he told Milton 2.0 that he did the lineup? Everybody that's never watched The Walking Dead, that are watching the Dead City, that doesn't know the background or just a little bit of it, that he explained that, and then Milton 2.0 is going to see it happen.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's what happens.
But who hasn't seen The Walking Dead? Why would they even watch this?
You never know. They just might
Hmm.
clip it on. Every show's got to say some background because they got to, write it as somebody's never watched the previous show. They got to give you some background.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think
same reason why Negan keeps saying, or somebody keeps saying, like Herschel, he killed my dad.
Right.
Killed my dad.
Yeah.
Because somebody watching that for the first time might not know.
Yeah, but for those of us that have watched the main series,
we're like, get to it.
We're the audience that they're trying to appease because they want to give us more to keep us engaged. But like Barb says, she's hitting her head up against a wall because she's not getting what she needs.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of just got to go into it, Barb, watching it like, I don't know anything about this character. And kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's so hard because you can't, because you do. I get what you're saying, but you just can't do that. Yeah. And, like I said, I mean, I saw Lauren Cohen's name up on the beginning, the credits and stuff, but I didn't think she was that much involved. So it was more of a surprise that I actually liked this episode a lot. Mm-hmm. And knew at the end that that's why. It had to have been why.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's interesting. I mean, they're the characters, the OGs like us, the people that have watched the main series. We know these characters so well. We know their history. We know what they've done. We know what they're capable of. And they're not utilizing what they're capable of. I have yet to see a plan go into play, like, all right, like case in point, where Rick and the group went in and took down the Saviors
and the satellite station.
The satellite station, the planning, the execution, all of that. We got a lot of that in the main show.
Mm-hmm.
We have yet to see that kind of action in this show. Maggie's capable of planning these huge attacks. Negan, I mean, what they did the night before the clearing when Glenn died, with every roadblock, there was something different. So planned out and so well executed. We have yet to see anything like that. And we know they're capable of doing it. Give us a big action. Give us something that's gonna have us on the edge of our seats, and do it. Start it at the beginning, and then play it through the whole episode. Don't give me cut shots of Curly trying to figure out why there's a throwing knife. Don't give me cut shots of Maggie and Herschel having a heartfelt conversation. I want to see that tension.
And also a thought came to my mind, because how many viewers did they lose after the lineup scene? So they could be trying to grab those viewers back, and that's why they keep going back.
I know, but when they lost all those viewers because of Glenn and Abraham, let's not forget that Abe died on the same evening. He was just as important. Let's not forget Abe.
Well, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying, I'm just thinking of why they keep repeating stuff in the show is because they lost so many viewers, that if somebody like, oh, I used to watch this, but I stopped watching after the lineup. So,
but I mean, it was in the comics.
Yeah, but not everybody reads the comics.
What I'm saying is that Glenn got his comic death. Mm-hmm. They knew going in that this was a dark comic.
Mm-hmm.
They knew going in the first few seasons. I mean, hell, everybody was dying that was important. There wasn't a person alive that was safe.
They probably don't have the funds, and they're not doing 16 episodes. So that's probably why they're not.
I get it, but kill somebody off.
They will. They will.
Kill somebody important off. Kill Maggie.
No.
Like I said, even in the last episode, we lost too many that we shouldn't have.
I want to see something that's going to make me go, oh, shit. And I haven't seen that yet. you know? And I want
Well, they could have killed Michonne.
I wish they would.
Dawn would have loved that.
Right. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, did I have this conversation with you, Barb?
Probably.
I can't remember. I had it with Barb or somebody. I said, if you think about leaders, Maggie is a better leader than Michonne.
Absolutely.
Because when Michonne was a leader, she had everybody separated and nobody was talking to each other.
Yep. I agree.
So that's why Michonne needs to go. Like, I feel like Maggie is the better leader. If they were going to kill somebody,
get rid of Michonne, kill her.
Yeah. Because I don't feel like she was she wasn't a team player.
Mm-mm. No,
and then the thing with Jocelyn, with the kids, and yeah,
I agree. And when Magna and Yumiko and all of them showed up, and Connie and Kelly and Luke, when they showed up, you know, I understand that it was right after the whole Jacqueline thing happened, and they were, you know, she had the community separated or whatever, but she was only concerned about herself. And you can't tell me she was concerned about the community. She wasn't concerned about the community. She was concerned about herself.
I mean, even Carol felt weird coming back. I mean, Carol she's an OG.
She never should have felt any type of weirdness or anything like that. And there never should have been a separation of the communities ever.
No.
So you're absolutely right. I think that Maggie is a better leader, but in the same breath, Maggie was also very selfish where it came to the hilltop, where she didn't want to trade with anybody and she had to take care of the hilltop. But Maggie was taking care of the whole hilltop as a community, not just herself.
Right.
So I agree. I think Maggie is a better leader than Michonne, and I may be biased. I don't know. She's sleeping with our man, so I don't know.
It's the facts.
My man, because your man.
Yeah, she has a new boo. I told her this whole time.
Josh is her number one.
I told her last year, and she wouldn't listen to me. And now what? Josh should be number one.
Andrew Lincoln. I haven't met Andrew Lincoln, so
if Andrew Lincoln walks in the room, fucking forget it.
She's gonna do a Daryl.
Yeah,
forget you. Took too long.
She will not. No, she'll knock Josh out of the way. Is what she'll do.
It's Andrew Lincoln,
right?
Yeah. I think we'd be in shock if we ever met him, Carol.
I think so too. I don't know what I would say or do. That's why we got to get Gimble.
You would do this. You would do the Lee Majors thing.
Well, let me ask you this, Dawn. If I was driving the car and it was Andrew Lincoln, would you tell me to stop or keep going?
I don't know. I probably couldn't. I'm telling you. I probably.
I would just keep going and piss her off.
I probably couldn't talk. I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah. Tina agrees with us. There's no oh shit moments. There's no more I can't wait to see the next episode. There is none of that right now. And it's really driving me crazy because Dead City, I had huge hopes for Dead City. And I like it as its own entity. I like it, but I don't love it. And that's where I'm having a problem because I really want.
I'm on a roller. Well, you already know I'm on a roller coaster with it.
Yeah,
I'm more downhill than I am up.
I love it, but that's.
I'm trying to love it. There are moments.
It's feeding my Walking Dead.
Right.
So I love it, but I love Maggie. Maggie's one of my favorites. So
yeah. Well, I'm hopeful for Daryl Dixon because I cannot wait for Daryl Dixon to start. Because I loved Daryl Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
There were moments I couldn't wait for the next episode. There were moments when I was just like enthralled by the scene. What did he say? With all Dawn's new booze, it would be Andrew who? I promise you that it would not.
Sister wife knows.
Sister wife, that's right. I promise you.
Well, after she left me in my dream to go to a dinner with Harold Perrineau by myself, I'll take Josh.
There you go, right?
I told her, I said, I had this dream the other night. We had a private dinner with Harold, but she was schmoozing with all the camp family, and she's like, I ain't going. I'm like, you're making me go by myself? She's like, yeah, take my car. I know,
no.
she left me.
I'm like, that's totally not me.
No.
It was
is
such a I tell her my dreams are so detailed, but
That's
that was
funny.
just funny.
Sandy, I agree. At this point, we want more backstories. That's what we told Scott
Yeah.
when we seen him.
Mhm. Hey,
And
Sean.
he said
Sean Powers says
AMC
hi.
wanted to go in a different direction.
Yeah. Or else if they had their say, we would have gotten the backstory of the Lonely Walker like Dawn has petitioned.
I asked him about it.
Yeah. Mark says that he's going through DD again now, so he's watching Daryl Dixon right now. Yeah, I'm excited for Daryl Dixon. I know that we're going to get Stephen Merchant in Daryl Dixon in this new season, and I love Stephen Merchant. He's a really weird casting because Stephen Merchant is normally a comedic actor, and you guys have seen him in a million things, and he's British. My hope for Daryl Dixon is that we get to finally see or hear about Jeff Grimes. I want to meet Jeff Grimes.
I want Daryl and Carol to finally fucking realize they can't have relationships because they're supposed to be together.
Ew.
No.
You really?
No.
Okay, Miss Maggie Negan person.
That's
I
hate
knew
Maggie.
that was
That's
That's not me.
relationship.
I'm not the Maggie Negan person.
no
That's
Carol.
hate bang. That's hate bang, honey. That ain't relationship shit.
Carol went, ew. That was just for you, Carol.
Thank you, honey.
All
They
I
said-
care about is I want Rick to see Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Negan, everybody again.
Yes.
Did they say when, like September or something, or?
for Daryl Dixon? Yeah, I think so.
It's fall.
I think I saw September. I wasn't sure if you guys saw the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's when it's coming. I'm not sure.
And Morgan. And Morgan. He has to see Morgan. Morgan's looking for him.
I have an interloper.
What happened?
Dave, he was waving at everybody.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Did you tell Dave that he was with us at camp all weekend? Because that's all I kept calling Dawn's brother.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Dave.
Why was that my dad?
No, it was Dawn's brother. Yeah. Yeah, I really want to see Jeff Grimes. I'm really interested to see that storyline. Or at least hear about him, like find out if he's still alive or if he did not, survive the apocalypse or whatever. Just so that we can have that Rick connection in there. Because we're getting a lot of TWD, we're getting a lot of the mothership from the Negan spinoff. And even though we have Daryl and Carol in Daryl Dixon, I want some of that grounding material. And I think
I still want to know what happened to Heath.
Who the hell doesn't? Where did he go?
Well, if we ever get Scott Gimple on here, we can ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. And, that would be interesting if Heath was actually in Spain. Wouldn't that be funny that he followed the card that said PPP on it? If he made some sort of connection and ended up over in Europe like Daryl did. I don't know how he would have, but anyway.
We need to talk to Eliza.
Yeah.
I want to know what happened to the kids from World Beyond.
Right? Did they make it to Oregon? Is that where they were going? Was Oregon?
I don't know.
Portland?
New York, right?
Isn't that where they were going? Was Portland?
Yes, that's right.
But wasn't their dad in New York?
No. Where was the?
That's where they started, but I think they were going to see their dad, which was in New York.
No, they met up with the dad already.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going back.
They were going to warn, weren't they? To warn them.
They were supposed to go to Portland to warn them about the
Sandy.
World Beyond found methane in our crackheads now. Oh, that's so wrong, Sandy.
That's a good theory.
That's too fucking funny. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot that I want, and I don't know that we're gonna get it. So we'll see. I don't
There it
know.
is.
They were all bit by werewolves, really? So we're gonna tie it into what, another TV show?
Teen Wolf.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, I mean, the Seth would do a crossover for sure, so we would be good with that, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? I know that we've said it a couple of times about what we're hoping for, but let's just reiterate for the audience what we're hoping that we get. What's that, Barb? What's that mean?
Everybody coming back together, like Dawn said.
Yes.
They need to see each other.
But they need to make a spin-off series called The Lost Ones and have it be about everyone through all different series with a "Where Are They Now" theme. I like that. I like all the unanswered or the ends that didn't tie together very well. I like
Mhm.
that. Yeah. So I don't know. I agree with you, Barb. I hope that they give us, after all of these damn spinoffs are done, I
Mhm.
hope they give us either a
I
made
don't
for
even
television
care if they throw the
movie.
kids from the world beyond in there. Just get them all back to the original people back together.
Yeah, tie this up in a nice little bow and finish it up for us at some point.
They messed up. They messed up when they didn't have Madison, Morgan, Dwight, Sherry, all standing there waiting at the gate of Alexandria to get together to go fight the CRM. They totally messed that up.
Yes.
Because in that
And the
in
World
fear,
Beyond could have been there too, the kids.
Yep. In fear, they were saying that they were heading back to the sanctuary.
They got to give us something, at least Morgan going back, because he's already on his way back there.
Yep.
So, if they just leave us hanging.
Well, Dwight and Sherry's on their way back there too.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They said they were going back to the sanctuary.
Yeah. So, and then
Sherry's thinking she's going back to kill Negan. That was her plan.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. There's going to be that whole Dwight and Sherry thing. I mean, we might get it with Dead City.
Yep.
We might get Dwight and Sherry with Dead City. And that whole confrontation. Because Daryl said to Dwight, "Don't come back."
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Dwight's done enough and has redeemed himself enough in fear that he knows he's going into trouble, but he can probably justify his return. I think Dwight and Sherry could justify their return.
I always wanted Rick to meet Madison. I always thought that would be a cool.
I think Madison and Rick together is a much better pairing than Michonne and Rick.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him and Madison together. Maybe. Oh.
But not the Madison.
Hey, one night with Rick, forget it. She did.
She did. Maybe, and this is just a theory, but maybe something happens to Michonne, and Michonne and Madison comes in, and him and Madison end up together, raising all them kids that aren't his. Except for RJ. RJ is his, but that's beside the point. Yeah. Sorry.
We're so mean.
I know. I went to the grocery store the other day with Angel, and we were talking about how Michonne just left them kids to go find her man. I'm like, what? Did she tell Daryl she was leaving, or did she just tip out?
No, she didn't tell anybody nothing.
She didn't say nothing. What, Judith woke up one morning and decided, oh, Mom's gone, knocks on Daryl's door and said, hey, Uncle Daryl, I need some cereal. And by the way, Mom's left. She did, Maria. She said, fuck them kids. Absolutely. Yeah.
And we don't know how long she was gone.
No, we don't. but she just left. I mean, and that was a big contention for everybody when the show was on, is that everybody was just leaving their kids just willy-nilly. It's not even just Rick.
And then she left during the Whisperer War when they needed her. So that's what I'm saying. Not a good leader.
Yeah. Yeah. And who stuck by her kid? Maggie. Maggie had Herschel with her the whole damn time. But everybody else just leaving them kids. Even Aaron left his kid.
She's loyal.
Yeah.
That's why I like Maggie and Rick. They're both loyal. And Carol is too. Daryl, Carol. It's like the OGs from season 2.
Carol and Rick.
They're the loyal ones.
Yeah. The dick is strong in Rick.
Maria.
I volunteer as tribute. Oh, that's terrible. Terrible, Maria. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. That was funny.
The best comment of the night.
I agree. That wins for the evening, Maria. Good job.
It's like the caption this today where Terry put, he goes with Pete looking down. They were both looking down, and Pete looks at him and he goes, "You're putting a tattoo on that little thing?"
Yeah, I love that. That was so great.
Sorry, not sorry. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, I hope they give us at least one episode, and it's an extended episode so they can wrap everything up at the end of it. If not, give us a damn movie. I'll go see it.
Me too. More than once.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go see it. So I think that's it.
All right.
For the episode and for the discussion, we're just kind of hanging out.
And next Monday, Beautiful Eyes is coming on.
Oh, Logan is.
Shut up, Carol.
He's pretty.
Shut up.
Hey, he's pretty.
What, Dawn?
What?
Oh, yeah. That's what you went like, oh my God.
Yeah. What was that all about? No reason?
Mm-mm.
He's pretty. He's a pretty boy for sure. And the interviews that I've seen, like I watched Dave Cameo's interview with him on Squawking.
Mm-hmm.
His interview with him, and it was really interesting. So I think Logan seems like he's got a really good personality. So I'm excited to meet him and talk to him. So.
And then next Thursday, we have our 2-year anniversary.
Right. 2 years.
Yes.
That's crazy talk.
Yep.
So
It's
it's
going to be some surprises.
yeah. We're going to have some special guests. And we're not saying who they are.
They're going to pop in and out.
Yeah. But it's going to be fun. You guys should join us. And it's a different night. It's not on Monday. It's going to be on Thursday. What's the date, Dawn?
19.
The 19th. Okay.
And it's supposed to be, and we're going to be on for 90 minutes, an hour and a half. So
Okay.
it's going to be an extended one.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and then that weekend, I'm headed to Nashville on Sunday to hang out with Babs.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go see Chris Hardwick. Find out when he's going to come back to be our psychiatrist. I love it.
So we had to take over for him. Since he's not doing it no more.
I'm tired of doing his job.
That's right. We're not getting paid.
Yeah. I'm having fun doing his job, but Okay. All right, guys.
Okay, we'd like to thank our Patreons and financial supporters of our show, Destiny Larimore, Terry and Kay Collier, Sandy Morrison. Sandy was in the comments tonight. Tracy Killen-Stokes, Ben and Melissa Gilbert. Ben was in the comments tonight. Pamela Blythe. Pamela was in the comments. Marion Craig, Brandon Cade, Jason Cohn. I think I saw Jason pop on. Wesley and Sarah Hale, Randy Nickel, Jasmine Mullins, Edward and Diana Ponce-Krupa, Casey and Katrina Florig, Jason Hill, Jonathan and Michelle Cooley. I know that Patreon page is getting this. I need to take a drink and a deep breath in between. Tina Steinberg. Tina was in the comments tonight. Debbie Juno Jerome, Fawn Montalago, Casey Collins, Anissa, Elizabeth Hanson Green, David Tuckerman, Crystal Fink, Kiki Sophie. I think Kiki jumped on a second and said, I haven't watched. I'm leaving. Bye.
Yeah.
Samora, in the comments, Regina, Kayla, Debbie Sullivan, Linda Athens, and our very own Dustin Baker. And isn't Mark a Patreon?
Yes, but I have to add him on. So Mark,
Okay.
yes.
And he was in the comments tonight. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're happy to have Mark on here too.
Okay. If you like to check us out, we have our Facebook group page where we play our games and give away monthly prizes. So, and then we have a podcast page. If you haven't liked, go like, please. Like, we're almost up to 1,000 girls. I'm excited. We're on Instagram. Eliza keeps that hopping. We're on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And we are on Spotify, Twitter, IMDb, and Carol keeps that updated. And we have our merchandise coming soon. And Patreon, you can be a $10 Patreon or a $20 Patreon, and you get a free Patreon shirt when you join. And you get to join in the games.
And why do people want to be Patreons, Dawn?
Because we get back to the lovely people in the comments. And Barb?
Yes, we also have a special chat group for the Patreons so that we play extra fun games for extra prizes.
And it's hysterical. It's one of my favorite things to watch. And every once in a while I screw up and I'll post the answer in the Patreons page on the Echelon Briefing.
I think you only did it that one time.
It was the only once, but it was funny. I didn't read the whole thing. I didn't know that you were asking the secondary question.
I know you didn't read the whole thing. That's why I didn't care.
And I went, oh, dang. And last week you were like, just read the stuff. And I'm like, well, shit, I didn't read it.
Well, it was like me this weekend because I was just reading answers and I didn't, because I had that Family Feud game and I wasn't reading that. Other people you posted more than once, which you're not supposed to do.
Right.
And I was just reading answers. So it gets hectic to try and keep up. So
right.
And
that was funny.
I'm going to throw this in here. And guys, all that money we get for our Patreons goes to you. We do not buy any special equipment for ourselves. We don't keep any money for ourselves. And like Sandy said, there are so many Patreon perks. And I've been Patreons to other things and groups and whatever. And I'm telling you, this is the most you get from being a Patreon.
Yeah.
And Dawn has added to the also Patreon group chat. She's doing some from questions as well. So
Yeah, those are
we're
good
all
too.
doing a little something there.
Yeah. And I think we're going to go back to on Monday nights when we don't have special guests. We haven't done the Patreons in the chat. We're going to go back to that. Just know that the StreamYard limits the amount of people. So the first few people that actually come on are the lucky guys that get to be in the chat with us before the podcast. We don't have any control over the amount of people that can be in each room. So there is a limited amount. We'll start sending out the link on Monday nights before the chats when we don't have special guests. We'll start doing that because I know that we haven't done that in a while and we need to get back to that. So.
Yeah, we don't do that for during special guests because we're too busy trying to figure out what we're gonna say and do.
Sometimes if you guys chat on,
go ahead.
if you guys come on early and chat about the episode a little bit, we can get a little bit more insight too. That's always fun. You guys come pre-show.
Yeah. And plus we miss your faces and it's always nice to see you guys because, you know, once a year just doesn't seem enough sometimes. So anyway, so we like to see your faces. Pam said she's going to go see Cuddles next week, and she's going to go see Ross and Matt and Madison Lintz in 2 weeks.
Greg Nicotero.
And Greg Nicotero.
Wouldn't it be nice if he would pop on the podcast?
Where's Pam going this time?
I don't know.
Where are you going to go see Greg at, Pam? That's all I care about.
Days of the Dead, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. I gotcha. God, I love that man.
I love his brain.
Yes, his brain he's so fucking sexy. Say something about the podcast, Pam. Remind him of us, please.
Yes. Get that picture of Carol off her thing. You remember this lady? She stopped Nick Norman.
You need to go on her podcast. Come on. Yeah. Remind him. Anyway, Sandy says we rock. Thank you, Sandy. We love you. And Maria said something about she's going to be becoming a Patreon in a couple weeks. So we appreciate you, Maria. Even if you aren't a Patreon, we love you, honey.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and a lot of the Patreons that are in this tonight, they've also gone to the camp, and I know that you guys have organized a lot of things that you gave back to them
Mhm.
as well. So that's another perk when you guys come to the camp.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dawn's right. When with the Patreon money, we all pay for our own equipment. We pay for our own tickets to the camp, to other events, things like that. We don't take money out of our Patreon money for us. We use that money for autographs, photos, things like that, that we can then turn around and give back to the game players, prizes, all that kind of stuff, special events at the camp, tickets to the camp. And then sometimes we have been known to send money to a needy individual that has a particular need. So that money does not go to us.
And I've
No,
also
and
had a lot.
I actually pay for the autographs myself.
There, see, there you go.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of donations for prizes,
That's good.
even from the artists. Suki on Top
Suki's-
Notch. Suki
Yeah.
this camp, she gave us a lot.
Yeah,
She knows we give back, so.
right. So anyway, all right, my loves. Well, till next week.